Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar about the Researcher-Clinician Partnership Program. My name is Simon Cheeseman. I'm the business lead for the Innovation Office here at CC ABHI, and I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. To learn more about the program over the next 30 minutes or so, we probably won't need to take the whole hour, and get you prepared to take advantage of this program. So just quickly going over the agenda for the next little while, the focus of the presentation will be to give a quick introduction of us, of what CC ABHI is and does, what we are seeking in terms of the kinds of solutions and how the funding program works. Specifically, we'll talk about how you apply and what that process will look like, including the critical timelines involved with that. And we're also going to highlight some of the critical evaluation criteria so you know what makes a good RCP2 application. Just a couple points, housekeeping. As the generic robot voice said when you came on, you're all in listen-only mode, which means that you're muted, so you can't ask me questions. If I'm not responding to you, I'm not just being rude. I can't hear what you're saying, but we do have a interface off to the right side of your screen. You should see an interface where you can type questions in that you have that occur to you along the way. And our webmaster, who's helping run this webinar, may respond directly to you and answer your question for all to see, or we may push it to the end of the presentation and I'll address them on the air so that we can everyone can hear it. And if you do ask a question that's a bit of a stumper, or we want to review the details before confirming the answer, we will get back to you and then also add it to a living FAQ document, which is on the program website, which I'll be referring to at the end of the presentation about how to find out more information. Also, I should point out that this is being recorded so that you can watch it again and again with your family and friends and relive the best parts, or also, as more likely be the case, if you think there was someone who wanted to see this but missed it, you'll be able to forward a link to them so that they can watch it at their own convenience. So I'll start with who we are. So CC ABHI, or the Canadian Centre for Aging and Brain Health Innovation, or Innovation, as we say in this part of the country, is a solution accelerator, which means that our goal is to accelerate the adoption of healthcare solutions that will improve healthcare outcomes for our target audience and also drive economic benefits by fostering collaborations between global innovators, many of which are actually located here in Canada, and seniors care organizations here in Canada and within our broader network of partnerships. CC ABHI was established in 2015, so we're a little over a year and a half old, with a 5-year mission to pursue these aims, and our mission is to improve the quality of life for people, for the older adult population, allowing them to age safely in the setting of their choice and maintaining their cognitive, emotional, and physical well-being for as long as possible. We do this by a number of funding programs. RCP2 is one of them. Earlier this year, or last calendar year, we launched a program called the Spark funding, which is aimed at earlier stage solutions being fostered within service organizations, healthcare service organizations, by point-of-care staff. And we've also released the Industry Innovation Partnership Program, or I2P2, which is still in progress, which will fund which lives up to the mission statement you see on the screen there of connecting vendor innovators with healthcare service providers that are looking to evaluate and trial innovative solutions that meet problems they have, and then RCP2, which we're going to talk about today, and knowledge mobilization in the future, which will be focusing on disseminating some of the best next practices that have a lot of evidence behind them. But today we're talking about RCP2, the Researcher-Clinician Partnership Program, and the ins and outs of that program. So I think, first of all, it's important to point out that the funding being made available to applicants is up to $600,000. It's targeted at teams of clinicians and researchers to refine, test, and validate their innovative solutions. We will fund up to about $2.4 million worth of these projects. to give you a sense of how many will be selected. The projects are meant to be running from 12 to 18 months, and they're focusing on solutions that are considered later stage research projects that have promising scalability and use in the marketplace. One of the working titles for this program was the Silo Buster program, because there is a strong focus here on bringing together researchers and clinicians out of their various siloed existences that often happen over time due to the working life and the institutional separation between what they do, to bring them together to collaborate and find innovative solutions at those crossroads. So what kinds of projects are we looking for? Well, first we'll start with the 4 large themes that all of CC ABHI's programs are intended to target. So these are the priority issues or themes that CC ABHI has chosen to focus on at least in its first year of operations. And that is reducing visits to the ER, preventing and reducing the damage from falls, allowing people to age at home, especially when managing complex chronic diseases in the home environment, and then cognitive fitness, which is about delaying the onset of the effects of the aging brain or mild cognitive impairment or dementia, or to improve the cognitive function in the normal behavior of the brain. The first 3 themes are explicitly tied to people with dementia, older adults with dementia, or mild cognitive impairment, or general cognitive decline. And then cognitive fitness has a more broader target audience with the focus on enhancement and prevention as well. So this does have a research focus, but as I said earlier, we are looking for solutions that are at an advanced stage of development. So translational activities are afoot, and with significant evidence behind them for their impact, and moving very close to use at the bedside. Of course, we're looking for things that have promising scalability and are appropriate for testing in a user environment, in a real operational environment for an extended period, like 12 to 18 months. We're looking for tests that would measure and evaluate the clinical utility, safety, and health outcomes, and the impact of the solution on care delivery for older adults. And the project should also include a large-scale knowledge dissemination component within them. So some things that we're not looking to fund, so clearly we're not looking to fund basic fundamental research or things that would generate more academic-oriented activities. We don't fund pharmaceutical trials, and we don't give money to incubators for startups. So I mentioned that the projects must be at an advanced stage of development, and you can sort of see some general criteria there. We do make reference to, and you'll see this on our program webpage, 2 specific scales that measure maturity level of research and technology. So one is specific to technology. So there's a concept of technology readiness level that has been codified by the Build in Canada Readiness Program, and there's a link that is provided from our webpage to that scale, which has very specific criteria and 9-stage of readiness, and we're looking for things that would land in 7, 8, 9, and I'll let you do the research to look at that criteria and understand if your solution involves a technical aspect, does it land within that 7 to 9 range? And then in terms of a clinical practice or therapy, there is a Harvard clinical and translational science standard that we'll make reference to, again, linked to from our webpage, and that is a T0 to T4, and we're looking for things that would land in 2, 3, or 4. And again, the criteria we think is very helpful and erases a lot of the ambiguity that comes from saying some things must be at a mature stage. That should give you a very good sense, and we ask you to identify where you sit on those two continuums when you make your application. As I mentioned, there is a special focus on team building in this program. And what we've asked for, because we are trying to bring together those two communities into a sum that is greater than their parts. So what we're specifically looking for is every team must have a lead clinician as well as a lead researcher. And then one of those two leads will be declared the primary investigator. The primary investigator is in turn employed by the host institution. And the host institution needs to be a Canadian charitable organization, CRA qualified donee, as we say, and that has to do with a number of restrictions around sending money out. So I always feel like this one needs a diagram, but we're looking for a lead clinician and a lead researcher. One of those two will be the primary investigator, and the primary investigator in turn works for the host institution. And we're going to go deeper now into the different roles that the host institution is expected to play. Now, it doesn't only have to be those two people. In fact, it probably shouldn't be. You can include, of course, additional clinicians, researchers, but also educators and other subject matter experts that flesh out your team. And you can also include a private corporation. So you may have a partner who is actively commercializing or extending or is participating in the research that is a commercial partner, and they can also be part of the team. We are looking for meaningful collaboration. So we want so two things. So it can't be partnerships of convenience, or we would like to see evidence of ongoing and meaningful connections between the group working together to develop and validate the solution. We also we would like to see a good spread of the different roles being played within the project itself. So in terms of the team and what it needs to be taken care of, keep in mind that that team must be responsible for developing and refining the protocols and assessment methodologies. You'll be executing the trial with appropriate consideration for ethics, participant recruitment, data collection, data management, the completion of quantitative and qualitative analyses, interpretation of results, and generating a final report. And these your team may be drawn from existing collaboration networks. You don't only have to have been created for the purposes of this project. You can already be working together under some other framework. I mentioned the host institution. So the host institution, as I mentioned already, will employ the primary investigator and must be a charitable organization here in Canada. The host institution is responsible for receiving and administrating the funding, as well as overseeing the activities and reporting. That host institution will be the one entering into a contract with CC ABHI that details out all these roles and responsibilities, including the ones I just mentioned above around reporting, and also will be the one responsible for contracting other institutions employed within the project and distributing funds to them. The host institution, especially where this may be specific to each project, but providing facilities, management, and support for the project team so they can effectively and efficiently engage in the proposed project. It will also ensure compliance with the rules around regulatory requirements for best practices in research and recruitment, consenting, privacy data, ethics, training, and where applicable, the host institution will also support and share the project costs related specifically to the advanced development of the innovative solutions in the realm of aging and brain health, and providing access to the population of test subjects if that's part of your project as well. Hope you're all scribbling down this fine print because it exists nowhere else. No, I'm just kidding. It's all there on our website. So that's a lot of detail, and you will be able to find that out for your reference on the RCP2 website. Now, getting into some of the mechanics of how to apply, so I've been making reference to the website itself. We're at ccabhi.com. There's a big blue button at the top of the screen that says apply for RCP2 funding. There's 2 steps to applying. The one that is open now and that you will be participating in is the expression of interest, which is it's substantive in its own right. It asks for a lot of details around the project and who you are and what you'll be doing. That's due on March 30th. And then if you're shortlisted, people will be invited to put in a full application, which is due May 25th. We're going to go and just get right down into the weeds here for a second. I'll show you what that looks like. So let's just go to the website itself so you can see how it runs. So this is our lovely website. I just need to can't get, oh, there it is. There, no. See, I was trying to make this look easy, but the screen is being covered. There we go. Okay. You click on the apply for RCP2 funding. Here's where all that detail is laid out for you. So everything I'm going over in this presentation and more is here. I encourage you to read this before proceeding to the actual application form so you know what you're getting into. And there's the FAQ I mentioned. So you can skip to the expression of interest form directly from the top of the page, and it comes up. Now this online form is savable as you go, so you can work directly into this form. There's a Save Progress button down here at the bottom of the page, and also it'll tell you when the deadline is here. This little calendar tells you how much longer you have left, so you still have a month. If you hit Save Progress, what happens is that it asks you to, it saves the form, and then it creates a specific URL that will allow you to keep working. So you can email yourself that link. So you've saved the form, and now you're invited to choose an email address where you can send the link to, and it'll send it off to you. But the truth is, you don't really need to do that. You can also, this is your form now. So you see how the URL has changed to this long, unique, this is your form, and every time you update the information, this specific link will take you back so you can work on it. So you can bookmark it, and you'll have access to your actual form. You can cut and paste it and email it to yourself that way, or you can email it to a colleague. This is something that is quite frequent because the form needs to be filled out by different members of your team, so you can start the form and pass it around using this URL. So that they can keep entering data into it. The only word of caution I would give you is that try not to have it open on too many computers at once, even on your own computer. If you have it open in 7 or 8 tabs, it can sometimes lead to some overwriting of data. And of course, if you're passing it around, the best practice would be to forward the form on to your colleague and then close it yourself. Stop working on it until they're done. It is not foolproof that way. So just to get into some of the content, so of course we're looking for a snappy title for your project so we know who you are, and then we start identifying the people. So who is the primary investigator and what is their role? Are they the lead researcher or clinician? Where do you work? Who is the host institution? And then the co-lead, which will either be the lead researcher or the lead clinician, the opposite of who the first person was. And then you're going to tell us a little bit more about what it is you're developing around an innovative product, service, or practice, or the solution more generally. And here's where you tell us more about what it is, its stage of development, where it sits on those lovely continuums and scales that I made reference to, technology readiness, clinical and translational research. You can put yourself on those scales and give us some explanatory information. The next thing is to tell us about your project. This is pretty straightforward. You can give us a brief narrative description of the scope of the project and what it would achieve, but also you will be asked to submit a more detailed project plan and budget. These are intermediary project plans and budgets. They'll be used to evaluate your proposal at the EOI stage, but you'll be asked to submit a final one as part of your application. Identify how much funds you're looking for here, and whether you're getting funding from other sources. Then we ask for more information about your team. Resumes are a nice way to communicate that information, and then the helpful other category. So these documents can be attached to capture research or white papers or other publications that may flesh out what it is you're proposing. Then the submit button is how you submit it. As I say, you can close it and keep working on it over time. You're not expected to finish it all in one go. If you have any technical issues, we have a team here that will help you with that. If you email at info@ccabhi.com and you say something along the lines of, hey, I can't find my form, or I have a question, a more substantive question about how to answer this question and what you're asking, we're here for you to address any of those questions. So there's how you apply, and here's when you need to apply by. So the expression of interest form that I just quickly reviewed on the screen there, that's due at the end of March. You'll be notified if you've been shortlisted by April 27th, and then a final deadline is May 25th from your perspective. Then we will do our evaluation. We have an external review panel and process that your applications will go through, and you'll be notified if you're a successful applicant by July 8th. And we're looking to get the project up and running in September of this year. So I'll finish with just talking a little bit about what criteria will be applied to your projects. So strategic alignment, it refers to both the program themes and the nature of the program. So how well does it align to one of the 4 themes? How well does it meet the hopes and dreams of RCP2 in terms of bringing those teams together and addressing late-stage research, moving it into to get some strong evaluation. Also, is it strategically key initiative? Then needs. So how well does it address critical needs with the healthcare system, both financial and clinical? How well does it meet the needs of specific end users? That would be the consumers of your innovation. And then what kind of evidence is behind those claims? How well does your claims of addressing those needs supported by evidence, whether directly or indirectly, depending on the state of your innovation? How clear is the proposal? I think that's self-explanatory. Are you able to crisply and clearly communicate what it is you'll be doing, how long it'll take, who's involved, what are the outcome measures, and the overall gist of what you'll be doing? Is the project feasible? So have you given yourself sufficient time, money, resources? Do you have a good spread of requirements and skills involved? And then scalability, what is the likelihood the project will result in an innovation that will have impact that can either be delivered on a large scale or will geographically scale to be ubiquitous? We'll be looking for confirming that commitment from your host institution. So there will be a letter of support that needs to be submitted along with that by the appropriate authority within the institution. Does your team have the right skill set and experience? Does the host institution have the right skill set and experience as well? So not only the support, but is it a kind of institution that's used to doing these kinds of projects? And if not, how are you accounting for that in your proposal? What resources are you bringing to bear? Same thing with team. Innovativeness is really about how breakthrough the approach is. Will it be turning the problem on its head? Will it be, or will it be more of an incremental impact to improve what's already there? And then key performance indicators. Does this project have high likelihood to produce the kinds of outcomes we're looking to achieve around quality of life, impacting the patient's lived experience, as well as other key things around financial and economic benefits accruing to the healthcare system. Okay, that is a bit of a whirlwind tour through the program. I hope that answered a lot of the key questions for you. And now is the opportunity to ask a few additional ones if there are any that came up. Just going to take a look at what's come through. So the first question we have is, Do the researcher and clinician need to be separate people, or does a clinician researcher meet the criteria? Yeah, no, it does need to be more than one person. We are looking to achieve a kind of reaching across the gap situation. So the good news, if you're both a researcher and a clinician, maybe you have colleagues on either sides of those divides of your own life. So it's an opportunity to reach out to pull together a team that can function as one. So a CRA qualified donee, so don't quote me because I'm not a tax lawyer, but what we mean by that is a charitable organization. So you need to be something that can take donations and give out receipts for those donations. And the prototypical organizations here would be, publicly funded research organizations with a charitable status, or a hospital with a charitable status that can meet those needs. Okay, I really appreciate everyone taking the time to come out and listen to the webinar. I think we're good for now, but as I point out, if you're taking a shower tomorrow and 5 questions occur to you that you wish you'd asked, we're here to be asked. You can reach out to us by info@ccabhi.com, and those questions will all be forwarded to the appropriate subject matter experts, and we'll get back to you. And be happy to work with you along the way as you put these applications together. So thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.